Thank you very much, Graham. Now calling on all cat owners and cat lovers out there. We know it, there's no secret. Cats bring so much joy into our lives, but along with their rather playful nature and snuggles, they can also expose us to certain health risks, and we need to be aware of that. Now, resident vet Vince Botha is this morning joining us to shed some light on what we call zoonotic diseases, how they can be transmitted from cats, and how to keep your household safe. Good morning, Doc. How's it going, bud?
Good morning. Very well, thank
Nice
you.
to see you. All right, zoonotic diseases. When we speak about this, what are we speaking about exactly, and which one should we look out for in terms of transmission from cats?
It sounds a bit obscure, but it's pretty straightforward. So a zoonotic disease is a disease that can be transmitted from humans to animals or vice versa. And in this case, we're talking more about the ones that are coming from the animals to the humans.
Yeah.
But people forget that we can also give things to our animals. But yeah, so the idea behind it is obviously that you have certain diseases that you are at risk of contracting if you have a cat in your household.
So what are the specific type of disease that we look at, or that most common?
So it's a bit tricky because there's a whole lot of them, and they vary from things like rabies, which is obviously a huge thing, and a big thing in South Africa. We're actually in our rabies awareness month, and so it is really important that people are aware of that. And then you have things like ringworm, which are a lot less, concerning. It's a fungal infection. And then the sort of big ones that we see are cat scratch fever, which is a Bartonella, which is a bacteria that cats harbor in their mouth. Intestinal parasites is a big thing, so worms, so roundworms specifically, that cats can give to humans, and the risks that they pose from that perspective. And so there's quite a lot. There's a whole long list of things that we could go through, but those are the main ones that we really need to be aware of. Things we see quite commonly.
No, I think alarm bells already went off for some people, when you said ringworm and all of those, which is the common ones that we actually do know about. But of course, we want to make sure that we take proper care of our animals, our cats specifically, with regards to this discussion as well. Early signs of a zoonotic disease. We know our cats, we know how they behave, we know their personalities and demeanor, but what shall we or should we look out for to know that maybe something is off?
So again, very much dependent on which particular one we're talking about. So obviously from a rabies perspective, you're looking for these abnormal neurological symptoms, so struggling to walk, hypersalivating and odd things like that. When we're talking about intestinal parasites, for instance, you're looking for things like diarrhea, especially with younger animals, and then also with your older animals then that are slightly higher risk of then starting to shed, and in that instance they're going to start getting diarrhea. Excessive vomiting. If we're talking about the ringworm side, we're looking for patches of hair loss, so alopecia, areas where you've got little focal points where there's hair loss. And those are the sort of main symptoms. When we're talking about ticks and fleas, for instance, those things we have spoken about in the past, but it's mainly itching and scratching, so excessive grooming sometimes in certain areas because the cats are irritated.
Yeah, you see, it's just worthwhile to take note. Like I said, we all know our animals and they have their behaviors, but anything out of the norm, I think start questioning, start looking a little bit closer as well. But obviously, prevention is better than cure. We want to make sure that we do not have these zoonotic issues within our own households. How can we prevent it from happening, making sure that our cats are specifically healthy?
So when it comes to things like rabies, super basic vaccination. It's really, really important, especially in our country, that we're making sure we're vaccinating for rabies. It's a preventable disease if we keep up to date with our vaccines. And then when we're talking about internal parasites, external parasites, so tick and flea control is really important. And something I just want to mention with this is Bartonella, which is the bacterial condition that bacteria that cats harbor in their mouth. And it's spread through fleas because they groom excessively and consume fleas. So if you're controlling fleas, that's one of your best ways to actually control that. So and it's something we do see quite a lot, this cat scratch fever, which is basically when you get bitten or scratched by a cat, it then gets horribly infected with this particular pathogen. So tick and flea control is really, really important, and again, sticking to the protocol that your particular product is using. But another really important component of this is using broad spectrum treatment. So you don't want to be using something that's only going to treat for one intestinal parasite, and if it doesn't cover for roundworms, for instance, and your cat is carrying something like toxoplasma, and the treatment you're using is not covering for that, you're not preventing yourself or protecting yourself against that zoonotic condition. So you want a nice broad spectrum product
Solution,
that's going to actually.
We are focusing on the NEXGARD combo. Is this something that, is that broader spectrum of what you can do to protect your animals, and not only that, but your family as well?
Absolutely. So to have one product that you can use to treat for ticks and fleas and worms all at once is really, really helpful. And then making sure that you're covering a whole group of families of worms, because that's actually what becomes really important. It's obviously really, really important that we're protecting our pets. And from a veterinary perspective, we tend to focus entirely on the pet, but the reality is that we also need to protect the people who are looking after those pets. So you want a product that is going to cover all of those bases. So
absolutely, really, and also that's safe for your animal. I think a lot of people have got those as well. So there we have it. Vince, thank you very much. Really appreciate you.
Absolute pleasure.
It's a big topic, I know.
It's a big topic. Shame we did talk for hours. Hyper summarizing.
You did very well. Thank you very, very much. Now, as cat parents, we really want nothing but the best for our furry friends, and that means keeping them safe. Now, NEXGARD Combo, like we've mentioned, is part of the NEXGARD brand family, the global #1 pet parasiticide in sales, and it's the only broad-spectrum protection for cats, targeting everything from fleas, ticks, mites, and tapeworms to roundworms, hookworms, lungworms, and even heartworm disease, all in one easy-to-use monthly topical solution. So whether you have a tiny kitten just 8 weeks old or a proud mama cat, NEXGARD Combo is designed to keep them healthy and happy, and you can enjoy more cuddle time and moments with your furry friends. But here's something for you now. As our viewer, one lucky viewer, one of you, it could be you, stands a chance to win 2,000 Rand cash. Simply reply to the competition post on Expresso's social media pages and describe your cat's personality. Get creative with this one in 3 words only. It's a challenge we'd love to see. Now, don't forget to include that hashtag NEXGARD Combo and also hashtag Guardians of Love. Now, this particular competition closes at midday tomorrow, Friday. T's and C's do apply, and you can find them on our website, expressoshow.com. We'll see you now.